in various board of sciences. So it's my privilege to introduce the main FTP coordinator of smart cities. So Dr. Shanmukha Sundar sir, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. So good afternoon to all the participants. So I think my PPT is visible, audible, fine. So let us start today's session. Of course, it is difficult to engage the post-lunch session. However, I'll make you people active before starting my presentation. Even I want to become active along with you people. So hope you people will cooperate. So because even just now, even I had a lunch. So let us take today's topic, and after having hectic 8 sessions, almost 13 sessions, now this is the final session. So electric vehicle and charging infrastructure for smart cities. Any technology you take it nowadays, so we are going to link it to the smart cities. So this is electric vehicle is also plays a very important role in our smart cities. How it is related, how it is connected, why it is required. So then if it is required, what is the charging, that is what is the challenge, what are the challenges in this electric vehicle we are going to face, etc. All those things I'll be discussing it. So let us start my presentation. Hope you people are active. Please wake up. If you are sleeping, please wake up. So let us have some fun over here before actually entering into our technology. Okay. Now let me check. Who is this person? Put it in a chat box. Can you identify? Hello. Can you identify this person? Very good. Only one person knows. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Okay, fine. So just, you may be thinking why I am showing Kapil Dev photo here. So let us see that one. Next. Now, this person. You know him? Yeah, very good, very good, very good, very good. Fine. Now I am not going to ask question. This is enough. So just I will going to show you the pictures. Fine. Okay. Now, Big B. Then my Sundar, same name. Then finally, I think, can you identify this lady? Let me see. This lady. Okay, 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 fine. Okay, you know that one. Very good. So you know these things, right? Now, let me put a question. Who is smart among these 5? Who is smart among these 5? So, can anyone tell? So let me check who is smart among these people. So I am going to open a poll for you. I am going to open a poll for you. So please poll it. It may pop up on your screen, etc. So this is your poll. And people who joined from video system or video conferencing application can't view this one. Okay, fine. So it is open. Open again. Just, okay, okay. 60 seconds for you. 60 seconds. No answer. Very good. Very good. Fine. Okay, fine. Let me close the poll. So I'll close the poll. I think enough. If I give time, you keep on posting it, right? So anyway, I will close the poll. So I'll give the poll results. Just check it out. Display okay, fine. Okay, now poll results are like this. Ratan Tata 12%, Piyush Code, Sundar 3%, Sushmita Sen 1%, all of them 22nd. No answer almost 58%. I think still I failed to make them awake, that 58%. Hope so. Fine. So you see that one here, Ratan Tata has got some percentage, Sundar has got some percentage, then all of them has got a total. So that means what here, each individual is smart in their own field. So if you take Kapil Dev, it is a sports field, and if you take Ratan, so business and other things, and IT, Sundar, then Sushmita Sen, beauty wise, and then Amitabh Bachchan, film field. You see, nothing common here, isn't it? They are smart in their own field. However, still some of the people have chosen other people. So they want all these 5 people agreed that they are smart. Similarly, in our cities, if we want to see it should be smart, so what we need? We need all the facilities, because majority of them voted for all of them are smart, isn't it? So therefore, so most of the people, they expect that they need all smart facilities in their cities so that they can call their city as smart city, isn't it? However, you can see few people have voted for Ratan Tata. That means they want only these facilities. So only these facilities. That means these facilities are there. Yes, we are satisfied with our city. We will call this city as a smart city, isn't it? So this is what they are going to do. So nothing common among these people, isn't it? So now next, let us see here. Now this is the one, option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. Fine. You look at these pictures. Something is common among these, all these 4 people, isn't it? So again, one more last poll, I will give it to you. Let me clear this one. I think it is going to pop up. Please, which one, who is smart among these 4 people? That is my question again. The same question which I asked, I am going to ask you. Who is smart? Just poll it. Yes, fast, fast. Fast, fast. Fast. Yes. Fast, fast. So I'll give 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you for all your response. I'm closing the poll. I closed it and see the results. Now the results is the first option 1%, second option 4%, third option 2%, the fourth option 9%, then all of them 26%, all of them are smart. No answer 58. They are not bothered about who is smart, the 58%, right? They are not bothered. Even in the first question also, majority of them have not answered. They are not bothered whether their city is clean or not, or whether their city is smart or not, isn't it? On lighter note, I am saying it. So fine. So this is the poll. So you people have taken it. So thank you one and all those who have participated in this poll. Also thanks to the others who have not participated. So you see that one in both the questions. So something common thing is there in this slide. First slide, what I showed, there is no common thing. One person is smart in cricket or film industry, etc. But here something common is there here. What is this common thing which you can see it here? Can anyone put it in a chat box? What is a common thing? First slide, there is no common. So different fields. What is a common here? Anyone? Anyone? Model. All are models. All are models. Dressing sense. Very good. Fine. Fine. Model. No one is known. Very good. That's why. So no one is known. So that is the common thing. As compared to the first slide, maybe that is the answer. Okay, fine. 2. Well, now I think somebody is giving 2. Second person is smart. So now common is dressing. So I can consider that one. That means fashion. Fashion, isn't it? That is common here. So, but still, even though common thing is there in this slide, somebody voted for 1, somebody voted for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Majority of them traditional. The 4th one has got majority votes. So they like this traditional one. That means what? Different people have different taste. Even though common thing is there here, so they like each individual here. Similarly, apart from the say smart cities, all are smart once again, but taste of people is different here. So let us move on to this one to correlate these two slides. Who is smart? Now this slide already 2 speakers has shown. I am not going to explain this slide. Just I will be comparing my 2 slides with this one. So the first slide, whatever I have shown, Amitabh Bachchan, etc., corresponds to these headings, main headings. So e-governance, waste management, water management, energy management, urban mobility, and others. Then the second slide, even though similarity, you see, this is a one heading. So it is a common among all these features, So therefore, but still, people have voted for different persons in the second slide. So that means they are expecting, I need under this heading, I need this facility, I need this facility, or I need both 1, 2, 3, etc. Similarly, in the second heading, I need this one, this facility, I need this facility, etc. Subdivisions. So that means what? Second slide corresponds to your subdivisions here. The first slide corresponds to your main headings. These main headings indicate are the smart solutions. Understood? So under smart solutions, there are sub solutions or subtasks are there. So out of all these things, you see this urban mobility is there. So under urban mobility, so there are sub topics are there. So in this one, so I have taken it mobility part. So under mobility, there are so many subdivisions are there. That means with respect to your second slide. So now, before moving on to this one, top ranking of smart cities. Just for your thing. So top 10 rankings. Anyway, instead of showing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I skipped that one. I shown Karnataka here, 10th ranking. Because most of the majority of them from the same state. So that's why I have shown that state here. Now you see this one from if you correlate with the first slide and the second slide, what I have shown. So here, Odisha, so first ranking is Bhubaneswar. You see the government has sanctioned only these facilities. That is, what are the basic building plans, railway station, urban mobility is there in Bhubaneswar, housing, social development, skill development, etc., LED street lighting, parking management, traffic management, etc. Same case if you take Maharashtra, that is Pune, they are given sanctioned for transport, pan water. What do you mean by pan city? Yesterday one of the speaker was speaking about pan city, isn't it? Pan city means the existing infrastructure to be upgraded with the latest technologies or with the smart solutions. That is your pan city. existing infrastructure to be upgraded with the latest technology, that is nothing but smart solution, that is pan water. So then electricity, solar, etc. Similarly, if you take Rajasthan, smart mobility is there, smart heritage, tourism, and you see Jaipur, Udaipur, I have not shown here. So all these are tourism places. So they are doing it smart heritage and tourism. That package they have given it, government. So similarly, Surat, if you take water supply management, renewable energy sources, etc. Kochi, if you take, if it is water supply, main roads, energy, etc., urban mobility. Now, if you take our Karnataka, Davangere, so you see the score they got. Every time there will be a ranking will takes place every year. This is the score they got. And here it is ICT enabled e-governance. One of the speaker has addressed about e-governance. Then one of the speaker has addressed about solid waste management, etc. And rooftop solar plants, intelligent solar street lights. Just now, previous session, we had that one. So now you see, we cannot have all the smart solution in a single city. Their government of India has taken up 100 smart mission recently, and they are going step by step by looking at the area based development. They are given the sanctions. That means they are given the funding to develop, to make their city as smart city. So therefore, if you see this list, so urban mobility or smart mobility, everywhere it is there. And also, so with this one, so I am taking it out. So you see this one recently, only Bhubaneswar I have taken example. Bhubaneswar. What they have sanctioned government? So it's the total project cost is 219.75 crore, out of which to buy electric vehicles 208 crores, and for charging infrastructure 11 crores almost. So contributions start from DHI, that means Department of Heavy Industries. So 116 crores almost. So to procure electric vehicles 105 crores, then cost of charging infrastructure 11.13. Then contribution from state government is 93 crores almost. Contribution from Bhubaneswar Smart City Limited is 10.5 crores. Why I am showing this slide means, because slowly I am moving into why this under mobility, the EVs are important. See here, Indian government is supporting or giving funds to this 100 mission, whatever the cities which has been identified for procuring electric vehicles and for installing charging infrastructure. To have that idea, I am showing this slide. Anyway, the financial things I will be taking at the end. So let us move on to the next slide. You may be thinking, why EVs are here? Smart city, why EVs? Let us see this one. Why EVs are important for smart cities? So because the question has been raised by one of the participants in the earlier session. Right. Now you see, EVs are required. It is important for smart cities to create healthier city and to build a stronger economy. That means economic growth. For these two things, EVs are important. Now, how to achieve this healthier city and stronger economy? Reduce the emission from transportation. That's all you have to do it. See, slowly I am linking how EVs are linked to your smart cities. Reduce the emission from transportation so that you can create your healthier city and stronger economy. Our GDP of our country depends on these smart cities, overall smart cities. Now, how to reduce this emission? Emission is coming from, I am taking only transportation. So, emission from transportation is coming from your tailpipe emission, and traffic congestion will be there. Obviously, you see that on majority of the people who are using vehicles, they will not switch off their vehicles at the parking, that is traffic light junctions. So, more pollution will be there at the traffic junctions. So, to reduce this emission, so tailpipe emission and traffic congestion has to be avoided. So, for this one, what the cities should do? The cities should step up their plans to reduce carbon emission and air pollution. So, this is what they should plan. Then when they plan this one, what is the immediate environmental benefit that is going to have these smart cities, benefit for smart cities? What is the environmental benefit? Replace all ICE vehicles. Replace all the ICE vehicles. But it will take time, just I am saying it. Now with zero emission vehicles, that is your electric vehicles. so that you can reduce carbon, or you can reduce the emissions so that environment will improve. So this is how EVs are directly connected to your smart cities. So once emission is reduced, so you will have a healthier city, and also your economic also will grow. Fine. Now urban planners, what is the duty of the urban planners in smart cities? What they have to do actually? So usually now at present the urban planners are better equipped in managing its environmental resources in their areas. They are better equipped now, means why? Because the technologies. What are the technologies they are using it? They are using sensors, Wi-Fi connectivity and data collection. To achieve pollution-free city, so what the smart city planners should do? So they should support PCS, public charging infrastructure, that is public charging stations. They should support this one. So okay, you are procuring EVs, okay, you are getting a pollution-free city, economy is growing, EVs are there, but where you are going to charge? So you have to charge these EVs, right? So how to charge? So you need charging infrastructure for these EVs. So therefore, whatever the smart city planners are there, so should support public electric vehicle charging stations. Without public charging station, if you are bringing up all EVs, so no use. So what is the challenge for smart cities nowadays? To have sustainable transportation. We should have sustainable transportation. That means what? To have this one, the smart city planners should ensure that zero emission vehicles should have your charging point. Now what smart city planners should speed up the process of installing EV charging stations. Understood? They have to speed up the process. Just bringing up EVs will not help. So they have to speed up the process of installing EV charging stations also. Now you see what is the impact of EVs impact on grid. Grid means I am talking about power grid. Will there be any impact on our power grid when EVs are coming up? Obviously, any electrical engineer or any electronics related engineer, you can say whenever something is related, connected to the electricity, obviously it will be a load, additional load on the grid. So definitely there will be an impact on the grid. The cars and other vehicles are not electronically connected. Now at present, you see this, whatever the vehicles are there, they are not electronically connected to your city's energy and data infrastructure. Isn't it? They are not electronically connected. But in future, you have seen the speakers, they are talking about all the vehicles will be connected electronically. So through the IoT, etc. So when it is connected, definitely it will have an additional load on the grid. So as EVs are growing, so everything is going to change because we are plugging in the EVs into the socket. So obviously it will be additional load on the grid. So in future, so it is going to change. You see this one, additional charges add additional peak demand to the power grid. Okay, you see here, this is the electric vehicle, this is a charging station, and this is the power grid. You assume it, it's a tower. In electrical engineers, most of them are, don't say this is a grid. So when it is getting at this one, so obviously it is giving a peak demand or additional load to the grid. Now, what you have to do? Now you want charging station, but you should be very careful. You should avoid installing charging station with outdated technology and with insufficient power. So power should be sufficiently available for charging it. If insufficient power is there, even if you are installing charging station, always it will be in off position only. So and don't use any outdated technology. Also don't install charging station wherever there is a low traffic is there or less electric vehicle. Suppose if you take a pocketed area, if less electric vehicles are there, if you are installing charging station over there, obviously you will not be benefited. So that is also you should take care. Now how this utilization, so this smart city planners, they should know that most of the EV owners, they charge their EVs at home. They prefer to charge their EVs, whether it may be two-wheeler or four-wheeler or there may be e-rickshaw, they prefer to charge at home. So this is the what the smart city planners should understand, first one. The second one thing is they should understand that one, okay, most of the time the private vehicles are parked ideal. You see that one, any vehicle, even if you are using a vehicle, majority of the time, if you take 24 hours, so majority of the time it is parked ideal. So you take the vehicle, go to your office or college, maybe for 1 hour drive you may make it, then park it there. Then evening 1 hour drive, and on average I am taking 1 hour. Okay, so 1 hour. So totally I use 2 hours out of 24 hours. Maybe here and there in between you may go here and there. I am talking about the average number. So most majority of the time it will be parked ideal. So these are the two important things. That means EV owners charge at home, and majority of the private vehicles are parked idle. So looking into this one, the World Economic Forum recommends that the cities must electrify the high-use vehicle as a priority. So what are the high-use vehicles as a priority? So that means what? First you should electrify the high-use vehicles as a priority. What are the high-use vehicles priority? Your taxis, ride shares, and public transport. So these are the high-use vehicles. So the World Economic Forum recommends that these three categories must be electrified first. Later they should go for domestic vehicles. So because these are the vehicles which are used a maximum time. And almost you see that the private vehicles are parked ideal. That's what I said it, isn't it? So electric buses are the biggest things, the cities that are doing it, in addition to the light duty fleets. Okay, fine. Now utilization of UVs. So why the UVs are utilized here? So obviously the main goal of smart city is to reduce carbon, that is emission. So smart city planners should tie up with the charging station installers. They should tie up. Just if they want to reduce and keeping quiet will not serve the purpose. They should have a tie up with the charging station installers. Now at present, who are the charging station installers? Your cab companies and local car dealers. However, future is going to change. Right now this is the situation. Now make EV charging convenient, affordable. You have to make EV charging convenient and affordable. So how to make it? To help the process, the city planners should offer the perks for electric car, like offering free parking, discounted charging, lane priority, exemption from congestion pricing, etc. So if you want to make EV charging convenient and affordable, so what they have to do? The city planners in the smart city should offer some perks for electric car. So these are some of the perks they can offer it. Then what is the impact of EV adoption? Smart city planners should include EV charging as a part of smart city framework. Already I have told. Understood? So this includes smart buildings, local generation. Local generation means what? How to generate locally? Your rooftop solar panels. So that is your local generation. Microgrids. So yesterday one of the speaker has given detailed insight of microgrids and stationary energy storage. So therefore, they should include, that is smart city planners should include EV charging as a part of smart city framework, which includes these things: smart building, local generation, etc. Now the new buildings whichever are going to come now, the new build like rainwater harvesting is there now, they made it mandatory, isn't it? So like that, the new buildings to be made ready for charging points along with RES by framing suitable policies. Already they are framing some suitable policies. Now the new buildings whichever that are going to come in smart cities, so they should have a charging points along with RES, that is renewable energy sources. So that is the policies they are discussing and they are proposing it. Definitely it is going to come in future for the smart cities. Many smart cities are choosing to install smart chargers. You see that means we have learnt or heard smart meters, isn't it? So two speakers have spoken about the smart meters. So many smart cities now choosing to install smart chargers. Why they are using smart chargers? Obviously to optimize the timing of an EV charging event. So what is the time required to charge an EV? EV means which one you are going to, which part of the EV is going, you are going to charge? Your battery. So how much time it will take to charge a battery? It depends on battery condition, whether it is fully discharged from 0 to maximum or whether 20% already it is there, from 20 to 80%. So depending on the charge level and the rating of the battery, ampere hour rating, so it depends, the time varies. So therefore, many smart cities are choosing to install smart chargers so that they can optimize the charging time. Now, that's what I am talking about. What is this smart charging? So this is enabled by smart meters. Smart charging means what? It is enabled by smart meters and are integrated. So whenever they are enabled by smart meters, these arrangement can be smoothly integrated and continuously with the electricity network, existing electricity network. So you see here, so anything enabled with smart meters can be integrated smoothly and continuously. So here smart meters, we are using it for charging purpose, to make the charging smart. That means to optimize the charging time, we are using the smart meters. So this will provide charge points slotted into the pavement poles, which will provide access for charging. See, whenever smart charging is coming up, this will provide a opportunity to create a charging point on your street lamp posts or on the pavements, etc. Now, smart charging will enable the customers to access to EV charging. This smart charging will enable the customers to access EV charging. Means what? Customers can access EV charging when electricity is cheapest. Now you see this one. Already you have seen, one of the speaker was telling, so with the smart meter, charging system with smart meter is called smart charging. So therefore, this smart charging will help the customers to access or to charge their vehicle when electricity is cheapest. When the electricity will be cheapest? When the demand, electricity demand is less. So obviously electricity will be cheap, and when electricity demand is more, the electricity will become costlier. So therefore, so this will enable the customers to charge their vehicle whenever electricity is cheapest. That means in smart charging. So usually when the electricity will be cheapest, during which duration? Usually it will be night times. So therefore, this one shifts automatically charging period to overnight or any other times during lower electricity demand. Whenever the electricity demand is low, obviously electricity will be cheap. So that one. And please avoid charging or drawing the power during peak demand periods, because electricity cost will be high. So this is the advantages we are going to get whenever we are having smart charging. So how smart charging is created? Charging infrastructure along with smart meters, that's all. Smart meters plays a very important role. So how accurate, what about the accuracy of these smart meters? So accuracy of these smart meters will be tested by using various standards. Yesterday, that is, one of the speaker was talking about testing of these smart meters using a standard IS 16444, isn't it? So all these things are interlinked. So therefore, this smart charging will help in balancing the loads on the local DISCOMs. DISCOMs means distribution companies. So this will balance the load on local distribution companies, especially with RES. Why with the RES? That means renewable energy sources are intermittent in nature. Now in the present scenario, almost all EV charging is done in one way. In the present day scenario, one way. Now in future, you can see it will be done in two way. EV charging will be done two way. So now you see, this is the grid that comes to house, maybe directly from the grid to charging. This is a charging unit. From the charging unit, it is the charging the battery of your electric vehicle. Now what happens in future? So suppose your car, I said most of the private vehicles are parked idle, isn't it? You are not using. So what you do? So charge your battery using your renewable energy sources like solar. Charge your battery during the idle time. Keep it here. Again push it back and use for your household purpose. That means during the evening time. The daytime you charge your battery using solar power. Then evening you push it back through the charging station to your house, or to the, if excess is there, push it back to your grid. Two way. One way it is this way from the grid, and from the vehicle to grid. So you can do two way charging. So therefore, when charging smart charging technology goes mainstream, EVs can serve as energy backup for the grid. V2G means vehicle to grid. So this is known as, usually we call it as energy storage on wheels. So if you have a storage during the idle time, charge it using solar, then push it back power, or you can use, because battery is used charged, so that you can use it during the night times. Now, however, this V2G vehicle to grid has some problem here. What is it? It is lacking in interconnection pathways to enable advanced VGI functionality. What is VGI? Voluntary geographical information. What is this voluntary geographical information? Each individual, whoever is having EV, so he has to enter the geographical information voluntarily, and it must be connected. Then this is possible. So because of that one, this is now at present it is lacking this functionality, VGA functionality. In spite of this drawback, the smart city planners started installing the today's state-of-the-art smart grid connected through the smart meters and commercial EV charging stations. In spite of this one, now cities around the world are tackling the urban EV charging problem with innovative solutions with a different model. What is that one? They are facing the problem all over the world. They are facing the problem. So almost at present 10 lakh charging stations are there all over the world approximately. So out of which India is having only around 700 charging stations. So that means which is less than 0.1%. Understood? So all over the world, compared to the EV vehicles that are on the road, with respect to the charging infrastructure is less. They are facing the problem with this charging infrastructure. So all over the world. So one such charging infrastructure model is, they are coming out, they are slowly coming out of the different charging infrastructure models. So that is along public streets. So what is this public streets? How the charging infrastructure? Already I have shown in the previous slide. The smart charging will enable the EV owners to install their charging point on the pavements, on the street lamp post, isn't it? So this is already in process in London, Los Angeles. Residents can request for a charging station or charging point to be installed on their street or block or area or in your apartment, etc. They can request, yes, I want a charging point here. Now what they will do, there are so many companies are there. So the companies will install EV charging point on street light posts on the requested block and send customers a card to charge their vehicle. Now you see, this is the card. This is the card, they will send it. So on request, they will install the charging point. You can see here, this is your charging point. Understood? And this is your lamp post, where you can see this one, and this is the card you are having it. So they will give the card. The company people only will provide, because they will have a unique ID for this card. So it has to be recognized, and they will plug into this lamp post. This is your lamp post charging point, and this is a cable. They will plug into this one, and there is a electronic meter or connections will be there. So this is a meter which we are having it. So whenever it is plugged into this socket, so this meter and this electronic arrangement communicate with each other, and they will authenticate each other. Yes, it is authenticated connection. Then only the power will flow through the cable and gets charged. This is the technology they are using it. If you want more details, you can visit this website and you can view this website. More details about your charging on the lamp post, how it will be done. The simple and very commonplace lamp post will soon become a popular charging point in EVs in smart cities. Obviously, whenever these pole charging points are coming up, so obviously these smart cities will have a lamp post. So that's what the previous speaker was talking about, smart street lighting, isn't it? So same thing here also holds good. So we call it as a smart pole. We'll not call it as a street lamp post or something like that. We'll call it as a smart pole. What this smart pole will have? It will have a charging point to charge your EVs. It will have a lamp. Then it will have a solar panel. It will have a sensors on that one. Understood? So all these things will be installed on a single pole. So which is called as smart pole. We will not call it as a street light or something. It will, in future in the smart cities, it is called as smart pole. Now this will allow the residents to apply for permit to install electric vehicle charging points. So that is over. Now semi-public charging stations. What is this semi-public charging station? The government should offer subsidies. I'll come to that point, subsidies offered by our Karnataka government to install charging stations on private property and made available for some public use. So some policies should come out so that charging station can be installed on private property and can made available for public use. So this is your semi-public, that means private property and public can use it. So therefore it is semi-public. So what are the strategies for EV charging? So the first strategy is shared parking. So you have to do this shared parking. So this is the strategy you have to adopt for EV charging, especially in the smart cities. What is this shared parking? Must be allowed. So this is already implemented in few of the smart cities wherever urban mobility target is there in the smart cities. In this case, private parking lots are used for different purposes. Private parking lots, suppose if you are having, you say, your college campus. So daytime your campus is filled with students and faculty vehicles. And during the evening time after the college hours, it will be empty, completely empty. Isn't it? So that during from evening time to next day morning, that can be used for residential parking. Isn't it? That way economically you can use that parking slot. So shared parking, this is known as your shared parking. Of course, on lighter note I am showing. So this is not the shared parking, one another. This is not the shared parking. So just I am showing it on lighter note. So therefore, so this will eliminate. Which will eliminate? Is this type of figure I have shown will eliminate duplicative parking? No, definitely not. So otherwise, so whatever I explained, you see here, the parking place at workplaces, malls, etc. can be used for parking during the day and residential parking during night times. This is what I told, isn't it? And you see that one, now your college campus you take, daytime it is filled with college and faculty, students and faculty vehicles. Evening to next day morning, it may be occupied by the residents. So that means full time that parking space is utilized because of this shared parking strategy. This is going to come in the smart cities already implemented. So what happens? Because majority of the time that place is occupied, so installing charging infrastructure at these places will become economical. So this is the right place to install. So installing EV charging point at these places will help in expanding the availability of charging infrastructure. Now EV charging technology continues to advance. Several standards and guidelines have become widely accepted across the EV industry. Let us not focus on this one. Time is okay. DC or AC can be used for charging EVs, either DC supply or AC. AC charging, this is as per SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers. EV AC charging power levels are classified. Similarly, DC charging based on their levels, it is classified. So first let us take AC charging levels. So first you can see this level 1 charging. So the voltage for this level 1 charging, usually this is called as slow charging. Slow charging level 1 means, because it is coming from 120 volts AC, it may be, current may be at 12 amperes or 60 amperes, then the power will be 1.2 to 1.8. What is the charging time? It will take charging time, because it is a slow charger, level 1 AC charger is a slow charger, so charging time will be around 8 to 10 hours it will take. Okay, to full charge, that is battery should get charged fully. So if battery is fully charged, then what is the mileage it gives? Approximately 40 miles you will get it if it is fully charged. So what purpose it is used? For residential charging, that is private charging. Suitability, low and medium range, PHEVs, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, and for all battery electric vehicles it is useful. Level 1 chargers, that is charging, this is useful. And this will not, level 1 charger is a slow charger. So time taken to charge is more, that is a drawback, but the advantage is it will not have an impact on electricity peak demand, that is electricity peak demand charges. It will not affect that one. Then level 2 we will have. So this is moderately charged. So the voltage will be from 200 to 240 and it will be the power rating, and charging time, obviously this also will take some 4 to 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours it will take. approximately you will get 180 miles. And also this level 2 also can be used for residential charging in addition to your PCS, that is public charging station. That can also you can use it. Level 2 charging uses a direct connection to the grid through an EV service equipment, EVSE, electric vehicle service equipment. Understood? So it is directly connected to that one. So level 1, level 2. However, level 2, if you are charging this one for 1 hour, 1 hour you are charging the battery, you assume it. So it will give you the mileage from 16 to 40 kilometers. Similarly, level 1, if you are charging for 1 hour, it will give you around 5 to 10 kilometers. 1 hour, not full charge. What range I have shown? If it is fully charged, then this is the range you are going to get it. Now, this level 2 has got onboard charger. So, onboard charger is there. The charging rate depends on the vehicle acceptance rate and the maximum current. See, charging rate depends on the vehicle's acceptance rate. That means what? If it is 7 kilowatt battery is there, if you are having 20 kilowatt, 22 kilowatt charging station, then it will take only 7 kilowatts only, not the 22 kilowatts. And also depends on the ratings of the current. These chargers have a standard EV connection plug that first fits all current vehicles except Tesla, which requires an adapter. You see this one, this charger level 2 will fit into all the plugs except for Teslas, because Tesla, they got their own charging points. So therefore what Tesla are doing, they are giving an extra adapter for charging point. Now next level is level 3, AC. Now I am dealing with AC chargers. Level 3, so it is known as fast charging. Level 1 is slow charging. Level 2, moderately charged. Level 3, fast charging. So you see from the voltage, maybe from 208 or from 3 phase 480, 600, and power rating will be greater than almost 14 kilowatt. And charging time will be almost less than half an hour it will take. Range almost 350 to 500 kilometers you may get it. So this is used for public charging. Setting means here this can be used, level 3 usually fast charging can be used for your public charging infrastructure. So that's what I said, suitability is fast chargers which recharge an average battery pack in not more than 30 minutes and can be considered as level 3 chargers. Now the system uses permanently wired supply dedicated for EV charging. This will have a permanently wired system because we are going to speak about wireless power transfer. Most of the EV owners, drivers will travel less than 60 kilometers a day on an average. I am taking on an average. You may drive 30 kilometers up, 30 kilometers down. So total 60 kilometers per day. So for this range, if you are having a two-wheeler, so your relatively slow charger, that is level 1 charger, is sufficient to meet the daily demand. That means you have to charge fully. Then you can drive this one. So for that one, level 1 slow charger is sufficient. Then DC charging. Then all DC systems requires dedicated wiring and installation and can be mounted on garages or charging stations. Anyway, that is not important. DC chargings are classified again into power levels, 3 levels. Here also 3 levels are there. AC also 3 levels are there. So level 1, level 2, level 3. Now voltage ranges 200 to 450. You see level 1, level 2, level 3. Only level 3 is the range is up to 600 volts. But where exactly the difference comes? Here the current rating. Level 1, it is less than or equal to 80 amperes. Then level 2, 200 amperes. Level 3, it is 400 amperes. And obviously voltage rating, current varies. So obviously your power rating also will vary. 36 kilowatt, 90 kilowatt and 240. And what is the range you are going to get? All these things will be 50 to 90 miles. I am talking it, not in terms of kilometers. Charging time will be your 30 minutes. So you are going to get. For EV system, onboard AC chargers are used for the lowest power levels. You see this one. For lowest power levels, onboard AC chargers are used. For higher power levels, DC charging systems are used. This is what you have to remember. Lowest power means depending on your battery rating. What is the ampere hour rating of your battery? Is it 22 kilowatts or 7 kilowatts or 50 kilowatts, 75 kilowatts? Depending on that one. So lower power levels, AC chargers are used on board. If it is higher power level, then DC charging system can be used it. Then the three different plug types used in DC fast chargers. We have seen AC charging, DC charging. Three levels are there in both the things. This will vary depending on their power level or voltage level, current level. Understood? So now these DC chargers, usually we call it as a fast chargers, are having three categories. One is combined charging systems. Combined charging systems, CCS. This is available in two versions, CCS1, CCS2, with different ratings. Understood? So here I will be focusing on combined charging systems. The minimum power rating will be 50 kilowatt. Then what is the capability? Capable of providing fast charging, dynamic charging and vehicle to infrastructure facility. V2X. V2X means I have shown V2G in the earlier slide. That means vehicle to grid. But X means to anything. Any infrastructure you can connect. You can connect it to grid, you can connect it to your house, you can connect it to charging point or etc. Vehicle to anything. So vehicle to infrastructure facility. Any infrastructure you can do it. So CCS, combined charging system. What are the electric? These are the electric vehicles. Whatever the models I am showing, I am talking about EVs only, not your IC. So it is Volkswagen, BMW, General Motors and Ford. So these are the vehicles they are using this CCS. Then CHAdeMO. This is the Japan made DC charger. So CHAdeMO means charge to move. That is how they pronounce. CHAdeMO means charge to move. So in this one, the minimum power rating is 50 kilowatt. Capability is similar to your CCS. And this model is used by Nissan, Toyota and Honda. So this is a CHAdeMO charger, DC. All these are fast chargers only. Then the last one is your supercharger, only available for your Tesla. So what is the power rating of this supercharger? 120 kilowatt. Its capability is fast charging and it is used by only Tesla. And recently you heard that one. So the Tesla has entered into the Indian EV market. So that means EV market, isn't it? So now what happens? Recently in this year, the top 5 EV cars that they are going to launch in India. 5 top cars. One from Tata, that is Tata Altroz. 2 from Mahindra. 1 from Hyundai. The last one is from your Tesla. It is expected that this Tesla are going to release the 3 versions of their EVs, starting from 50 kilowatt hour, 54 kilowatt hour, then 75 kilowatt hour. These are the 3 models they are going to release. So with Model 3, what is a Tesla Model 3? They are going to release it in India. So they are using supercharger there, 50 kilowatt hour, 54, 75. This 50 kilowatt hour will give you the mileage up to 350 kilometers. Then your 54 kilowatt hour will give you a range up to, that is if it is fully charged, it will give you up to 420 kilometers. Then it will give around 650 kilometers if it is 75 kilowatt hour battery if you are using it. So this is your supercharger. At present, most of the EV charging station provides level 2 AC charging facilities. Level 2 AC means it is 240 volts, isn't it? Moderately charged. That is the what they are building. Level 3 DC charging network is used for Tesla cars. Already I told that one. Now you can see this one pictorial reference. Level 1 120, level 2 240, level 3 480 volts, which is known as DC fast charger. And here you see add 5 miles per hour of charge used for residential purpose. Already only thing is I am showing it with a pictorial representation here. So this you will get, if you are charging this one with level 2, so for an hour it will give you 20 to 60 miles you can drive. Then if it is your fast charger level 3, for 1 hour if you are charging, not required because it takes less than half an hour I said. So if you are charging 20 minutes or half an hour, it will give you 60 to 100 miles. So it is used for your commercial use. Now what are the DC chargers? Just now we have discussed. Why I am telling it is, say the aim of this presentation is anyone wants to become entrepreneur. Anyone wants to become entrepreneur in EV market. So it is useful. This is useful for them. Also, anyone wants to teach their students what is the scenario of your EVs. So this is going to helpful. Mainly for entrepreneurs. If you are having money, definitely you can go for this one. If time permits, I will show you the estimation of a charging infrastructure with case study. So let us see charging types. These are the DC chargers we have discussed. CHAdeMO, then Tesla supercharger. This is China made. Anyway, I am not going to discuss that one. CHAdeMO, it is up to 400. What is the maximum power output of this charger? It is 400 kilowatt. And all these chargers, I told no wireless power charging, sorry, for lamp post charging. There they are using the meters, smart meters with a charging system. So they need some communication networks. So what is the communication network that is used here? Control area network, which is used in these two. Only thing is in Tesla, it is up to 135 kilowatt DC, they are using it. And this is from origin, etc. All those things I have explained it already. This is how the DC chargers will look. And this is your AC chargers, type 1. So up to 7.4 kilowatts. It is Japan and USA, they are using it. Type 2, then level 2 charger looks like this. Then it is up to 44 kilowatt. So Europe and many European cars, they will be using this type 2. Then type 3, so it will be up to 22 kilowatts will be there. France and Italy and some European cars, they will be using it. Then we have combined AC and DC chargers. That is known as CCS, combined charging systems. Now I said it will have a two versions, CC1, CC2. So you see this one, this is a charging point, this is the connector. This is a charging point for CCS2 version, this is the connector. We are having it. So up to 43 kilowatts AC and up to 400 kilowatts DC. Because both AC and DC you can charge it here. CC1 and CC2 versions available. Same plugs used for both AC and DC charging. Most European Audi cars, BMW, etc., they will be using this type of chargers. Now, how it will be? This is just for your information. This is a utility. Then you will be having a control and monitoring device. This entire thing is known as EVSE, that is electric vehicle supply equipment. That is nothing but your charging station. We call it as a charging station. So there you have a card here. So this is the inlet which is provided at the your EV car. Then plug this card into this inlet, so it gets charged through the charge controller and battery gets charged. So this is how actually it gets charged. What is the charging scope for charging infrastructure for EVs in India? And already I told, smart cities, they are implementing EVs. And you have seen that one government has sanctioned crores together money to the cities which has been identified under 100 smart city missions. The global electric market grows by at least an order of magnitude by 2025. I'm talking about only till next 5 years. It is going to increase by an order. We think about next decade or next 2 decades. So the country needs more public charging infrastructure. Already I told that one, only less than 0.1% the charging infrastructure is available in India. That means around 700 charging stations are available in all over India. Even with the present COVID-19 situation, the Raipur Smart City, you see that one, the Raipur Smart City Limited has taken steps for setting up its charging station at multiple locations in the city. This has happened in March 2020. Even with this situation, the smart city, because they had to achieve their targets, because rankings will be there. So based on that rankings, they had to work faster. So to achieve that one, even though COVID-19 situation is there, so they have taken steps to install charging station at a different location in Raipur Smart City. Then the growth of EVs is hampering in India. Why it is hampering? Because lack of charging infrastructure. That's what I said, around 700 all over India. The revised guidelines. Why there is a lack of infrastructure, EV charging infrastructure in India? Because of policies. Policies made. Now the policies has been revised and which is supportive to create the charging infrastructure. That we will see it. The revised guidelines to create charging infrastructure in India will simplify the process. Now it is expected that the corporate identity guidelines are one of the great initiatives in enhancement of EV charging infrastructure in India, in particular smart cities. The corporate identity guidelines has been framed, and this is a great initiative in enhancing EV charging infrastructure, in particular for smart cities. Now what is the characteristics of this corporate identity guidelines? So one is public, private, we will see that one. Public is de-licensed activity. Now you see earlier only a licensed people can install the charging station, public charging station. Now with this revised guidelines, public charging station can be installed by any individual. Even I can install, you can install. That is de-licensed activity now. Any individual or any private company can install. Long range or heavy duty EVs along with variation in its charging speed levels, slow, moderate or fast charging, level 2 or DC fast charging equipments are used. You see here, you have to decide whenever you are going for a public charging station, you should decide whether you are going for a long range vehicle or heavy duty vehicles or residential, that means EV two-wheeler and e-rickshaws. You have to decide about your charging equipment. So level 2 and DC fast charging equipments, usually they are used. Level 2, which is useful for both residential as well as your commercial purpose, and then DC fast charging can be used for your public charging purpose. So these two chargers can be used in a public charging station. Then private, these are for self-use. As I said, level 1, isn't it? Private use, self-use, and any individual can establish charging point. And this corporate identity guidelines will expand the EV charging station points at residences and offices. Why? Because any individual can install now. You and I can install if we have money. In general, private home charging is not a major barrier. Most of the EV charging happens at home. Already I told that one. So at home happens means either you use level 1 or level 2 charging equipment. However, level 2 charging station with higher power, internet connectivity or timers can add additional cost to EV owners. Understood? Level 1 you can use it for your home purpose, self-use. However, level 2 also you can use it, but level 2 will have, if you are using level 2 higher power with interconnectivity, you will have to bear additional cost. When the rapid increase in longer range EVs, level 1 charging is insufficient. That means longer range vehicles are coming out, isn't it? So then level 1 charging, that is slow charger, is insufficient. Then level 2 home charging would be increasingly important. Restricted public use. What is this restricted public use? These charging points will be aimed to serve limited permitted visitors. Public means anybody can use it. Anybody can install and anybody can use it. This is restricted. That means charging points or station can be installed in malls, housing societies, offices, complex, restaurants, hotels and other public places. But it will be restricted. Suppose if you are installing it in housing societies, only the people who are staying in the housing societies can use it. And if it is malls, then only the people who are visiting the malls can use it, etc. like that. So that's why it is called restricted public use. For mass transportation under pilot project, under FAME program, everyone should know that one if you want to become an entrepreneur in EV industry. So you should know this FAME 1 and FAME 2. There are two policies are there. They have revised the guidelines of FAME. That is 2 is available now. That is faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles. FAME, F-A-M-E means faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles. So this is going to, as a pilot project, this program has been achieved. Now Government of India announced that it will provide up to 1 billion rupees funding to smart cities to purchase EVs. Already you have seen one simple table, 2020, that was a table. The funds sanctioned to Bhubaneswar to procure your EVs and charging infrastructure, to set up charging infrastructure. So this is the thing under FAME, and FAME 2 is also the policies has been revised. So it is going to support the investors. MOUs towards development of smart cities. Now you see this one. Recently, MOUs, even though pandemic was there, so MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding, has happened in development of smart cities. In 2020 August, recently, this Energy Efficiency Service Limited, which is a joint venture of public sector unit under the Ministry of Power. So that is GOI, Government of India plus CEO of Smart City Bhopal had a MOU. What MOU said that they are going to set up EV charging infrastructure at 50 locations in Bhopal. This is for smart cities. So they had a MOU. One more thing, same November 2020, same PSU under the Ministry of Power. So they had MOU with the new renewable energy department to set up 2 EV chargers. You may be wondering why only 2 UV chargers. This is based on renewable energy. So that's why they are going for only 2 EV chargers at Panchakula. And October 2020, same thing. EESL and Smart City Satna MP to set up charging stations in the city. You see, even during the pandemic situation, Raipur Smart City, then Smart City MP, etc., all are doing their work. Then EESL Managing Director Rajat Sood informed that close to 207 charging stations have already been installed across India. This is a recent interview from this MD of EESL, Energy Efficiency Service Limited, which is a public sector unit tied up with Ministry of Power. So said that 207 charging stations are going to be installed in India. And at the same time, it has planned to install 500 more electric vehicles. That means install at least 500 more electric vehicle charging stations in the country in the fiscal year 2021. Still 3 months to go. They are planning to install at least 500. Now the company plans to set up around 10,000 charging stations over the next 2 to 3 years. You see how the why the demand for charging stations. The demand for charging station is increasing day by day because EVs are increasing day by day. So therefore, there is a bright opportunity for anybody to become entrepreneur in this EV industry. Size of the battery. Now size of the battery, if it is empty to full, so what are the factors that are affecting? It is here. Charging speed. Size of the battery will affect the charging speed. Everybody are interested. If you go to petrol bunk, so within 1 or 2 minutes, they will fill your petrol. But when you go to charging station, then it will take time. You are seeing that one. If you unless it is a fast charger also, it is taking half an hour time. So therefore, battery time, charging speed, it depends on different factors. One is size of the battery. Bigger the size of EV battery, the longer it will take to charge. The state of the battery, if it is it empty to full or from 20% to full or 50% to full, it depends. So state of the battery, it is full. Then maximum charging rate of the vehicle. So the EV's battery can be charged at the maximum charge rate of the vehicle. Means what? Suppose your vehicle rating is 7 kilowatt, then the charging station rating is 22 kilowatt. Don't think that it is going to charge because 22 kilowatts is there, your rating is 7 kilowatts, so it is going to charge at faster rate. No, it will take only till 7 kilowatts only. So that is maximum charging rate of the vehicle. Similarly, vice versa. Charging rate of the charging point. Suppose charging point rating is 7 kilowatts, your electric vehicle rating is 22 kilowatt. So even though you are having greater capacity in your electric vehicle, but the charging point rating is 7 kilowatts, so obviously it will charge slower rate, isn't it? So it depends on size of the battery, state of the battery, maximum charging rate of the charging point, and obviously environmental factors. So obviously if it is cold temperature, so it will take more time. And this is a charging time, just I have given it. Battery energy, so this is a battery size, kilowatt hour. It is 20 kilowatt hour battery, 40 kilowatt hour, 60, etc. And what is the time taken to fully charge for AC standards and for AC optional and DC. Red one you see, irrespective of the battery size, it is taking almost majority of them. If I draw a line here, so less than an hour, isn't it? Except this one. So majority of them, irrespective of that one, so it will take less time for this DC charging. And most of the time you see this one, this is grouped together here. 2 to 6 or 2 to 8 hours it will take if you are using a IAC standard charging. These are some of the charging standards, and anything if you want to install, you have to follow some charging standards, right? So these are the charging standards which are available. You can go through that one, which is available in any of the website. You can go through for plugs, for DC fast charging and AC charging. So they are given it, and our Society of Automation Engineers also given some standards. You see, this is as per IEC conductive charging system and ACE conductive charging system, but you see the scope will be different. Understood? Even though it is conductive charging, the parameters which are covered under this IEC and SAE will be different. So this itself will take almost 1 hour to explain each standard. Anyway, I am not going to focus on those things. Now, a fundamental part of the smart city future is wireless power. That's what I am charging. Wireless power will energize the smart cities. Understood? So a fundamental part of smart city is wireless power. However, still it is under trial stage. In future, we are going to see this wireless power transfer. Enjoys a significant interest because no plugs, no cables, low risk of sparks and shocks, no interconnection to the grid. So it is wireless. However, because of the health and safety concern associated with the current technology, that is wireless charging, so we are going to limit this one. The availability of this technology in commercial EVs is limited. Now, different technologies considered for wireless is differ in operating frequency. There are a lot of technologies available in wireless charging. So it differ in operating frequency, efficiency, associated electromagnetic interference, and other factors. Wireless EV charging technologies uses magnetic resonance induction to transfer power. You see this one. Usually now they are trying with this one, magnetic resonance induction to transfer the power without any wire. That means here power is transferred to the VCU, that is vehicle charging unit pad. There will be a charging pad will be there both in the base charging and vehicle charging. VCU means vehicle charging unit pad via magnetic coupling, and this energy is used to charge the vehicle batteries. See, no wires, but through the magnetic coupling, so it is going to charge. Wireless charging work at a frequency, it will operate typically below 300 kilohertz. Because I am running out of time, so that's why I'm pushing out. The ground BCU, what is BCU means? It is base charging unit, which is situated at the base, the ground, on the road, under the road, remains off until a vehicle with a compatible VCU is in the correct proximity. So BCU will be there on the ground and VCU will be there on the vehicle bottom frame. So whenever these two gets synchronized, then only it will transfer the power through magnetic coupling. Otherwise, your base charging unit remains off. The BCU and VCU communicate to each other for authentication, validating usage, charging requirements, and tariffs are needed. What is the tariff needed? Charging begins once all the authentication. You may be thinking, so authentication is required even whether it is you are using a card to plug in or wireless, authentication is very important. So once authentication is verified, then only the charging begins. It is not like our electrical circuit, as soon as you put that one, you will get a supply. It's not like that. There are so many smart meters and electronic gadgets are involved to make your authentication. Toyota, BMW, Honda, Nissan have announced plans to embed magnetic resonance charging into their vehicles. They have announced already, they are doing research on this work, but SAE consolidates standards for magnetic resonance wireless. We will have the building blocks in future. You can see that one, the building blocks in place for the smart city evolution. Whenever smart cities are coming, one important thing you can see, lamp posts, smart poles with smart charging, etc. All those things will be there. The other one is this wireless charging. Buildings will have this wireless chargings in the smart cities. And this is a comparison, various comparison, and you can see here this inductive power transfer, wireless transfer. This is not required. So capacity power, you can see power level is at low power levels. We can use this CPT, capacitive power transfer, because its efficiency is low, cost is also low, etc. So like that, if you see this resonant inductive and in online inductive, this one, you can use it for medium power levels, because all other parameters also will support. When you see this permanent magnet, efficiency is low, cost is high, power level is medium or low, volume size is also high. So majority of the parameters is not supporting this one. So definitely we should not go for this one. So either we'll be going for these two, it will be supporting it. You can go through this one, it is available. I will give it at the end of this one from where we have taken this one, all these references. For faster adoption of EVs in India, the government of India have undertaken several initiatives. So this will ensure safe, reliable, accessible. Now the Town and Country Planning Organization, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India have made amendments in Model Building Bylaws 2016. They have framed some bylaws in 2016 and they have that means they have come up with some amendments in this one exclusively for EV charging infrastructure. they made some amendments in the model building bylaws. These amendments are made to include additional norms for EVs, charging infrastructure in building premises and core urban city areas. So please go through this amendment. So this is going to help you in future if you want to build a building or something. So you have to follow these norms in the smart cities. And obviously, they are going to make all the cities smart in future. The amendments are made keeping the long-term vision implementing EVs during the next 3 decades. Okay, based on charging technologies, the amendments are made. Different charging technologies are available. That is, one is EV type, whether it is two-wheeler, three-wheeler, e-rickshaw or heavy vehicles, etc. Charging points. Charging point means it is level 1, level 2, level 3, or charging requirements, whether you want 7 kilowatts, 22 kilowatts, etc. Number of charging points required for PCs within the local urban areas. Some of the amendments are the charging infrastructure for EVs only to be established based on the occupancy pattern and the total parking area in the premises. So first, this charging infrastructure must be established only looking into the occupancy. If you are having only 2-3 vehicles in your area and requesting for a charging infrastructure, that will not be permitted. Further, building premises should have an additional power load. Yes, whenever you are constructing a building or an apartment, so now in future, you should plan such a way that the additional load it should take, because EVs are going to come. So whenever EVs are coming, additional load will be added to the grid. So this additional load is equivalent to the power required for all charging points to be operated simultaneously. So therefore, any power plans you are making for any building, new building, etc., now you have to keep a margin, that is a safety factor of 1.25. If you want 100 kilowatt power, then you should keep 125 kilowatt. So 1.25 safety factor, you have to keep it. These are some of the amendments they have made it. Charging infrastructure for individual house, obviously minimum infrastructure is not required. If you want for self-use, then no minimum infrastructure required for private charging points. However, for then here owner of a private charging infrastructure will be your whoever has installed that charging point, that is private, he will be the owner. And what is the metering which is used to charge? Your normal meter, domestic meter. And what is the type of charger? Slow charger, which is a AC, and minimum 1 slow charger. Norms for provision, 1 slow charger will be provided for 1 user. Then charging infrastructure for all of the other buildings. PCS, public charging stations. Any charging station installed at public, private areas or building premises which serves as a commercial purpose, minimum requirement is there. This is the amendment they made. If it is for personal use, no minimum requirement. If it is public, then minimum requirement is there. So this they have made it. So this minimum requirement you have to follow based on the Ministry of Power published in 14/12/2008. So however, in order to provide sufficient charging points, 15% in all vehicles ratio of type charges is recommended in the below table. So let us see here, norms for provision of charging points. These are the amendments. For 4-wheelers, 1 slow charger for every 3 EVs. For every 3 EVs, 1 slow charger you can have. And 1 fast charger for each 10 EVs you can have. If you are having 10 EVs, then 1 fast charger you should have, because you should get charged 1 by 1, isn't it? So then, if it is a 3-wheelers, 1 slow charger for every 2 EVs. If it is a 3-wheelers, if you are, then if it is a 2-wheeler, 1 slow charger for every 2 EVs. PV means what? It's not photovoltaic. Here it is passenger vehicles. Passenger vehicles. Even I am getting into photovoltaic suddenly. So then I jump back. So passenger vehicles. So it is buses. So if it is buses, then 1 fast charger for every 10 buses you have to require. So minimum infrastructure, which also requires your exclusive transformer is required to power up your charging station, and appropriate civil works are required, isn't it? So this is the rating and cables, line cables from grid to your charging station. All those specifications are available. Understood? Now you see the minimum requirement. PCS, if you want to become an entrepreneur in EV industry by setting up charging infrastructure, then 1 or more, it is recommended to have 1 or more electric boards or kiosks with kiosk with installation of charger models below. That means this is the minimum requirement. If you are going for public charging infrastructure, this is the minimum thing you have to satisfy. That means what? Fast chargers you should install, mandatory, and slow or moderate chargers also you should install if you are planning to set up a public charging station as per Ministry of Power. So what is the charging connection? Combined charging system, CHAdeMO, Type 2 AC. All these three are under your fast chargers. Already I have explained. And what is the rating? What is the voltage rating? I have explained it, all these tables. But from those tables only, they have given slow chargers also mandatory. That is Bharat DC 001, Bharat AC 001. For AC charging, this is the model charger connection, and for DC model, this is the charger connection. That means totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 charger connection you have to install. That is mandatory with these ratings, with this minimum ratings. That means here how many points, charging points for these fast chargers? 1 charging point and 1 charger gun. CG means charger gun. I shown in the pictorial representation. For everything, 1 charging point, 1 charger gun till this point. But here AC, what happens? So it will have AC 001 will comes with 3 units which each of 3.3 kilowatt. So therefore 3 charging points will be there under AC 001 and 3 guns will be there, so that you can charge 3 vehicles simultaneously here. And in addition to these 5 charger connections, it also given that battery swapping is an optional thing. So that has also been included here, but I have not included here. This is the minimum infrastructure, they have to do it. Okay, all these things, minimum area required. Area required for public charging station is 800 square feet, minimum. Okay, so where to locate? What is the location of public charging stations? So for every 3 kilometers, 3 by 3 kilometers, so at least 1 PCS should be available in future in urban areas or smart cities. And for every 25 kilometers on both sides of the highway, 1 public charging station. And for highways, for heavy duty vehicles, and it should be available, public charging station should be available for every 100 kilometers. So if it is smart cities within 3 and 3 kilometers radius or 25 kilometers radius, it should be available. 10 lakhs PCs, public charging stations, are installed around the world. That's what I said it already. And India is targeting 30% by 2030. 30% of the total world charging station they are expecting by 2030. You see, there is a great demand for your charging infrastructure. If you want to set up infrastructure, that you can do it. So this is for every 100. So minimum 2 chargers, all these things we will go this one. So you can see this one. Now anyone can set up the EVSE business charging infrastructure. You see this one, level 2 station ranges from 4 lakhs to 11 lakhs. DC fast charging station ranges from 30 to 73 lakhs. However, we will see that one actual type of charging station. The setting, etc., all those things are there. Okay, now this is the finance factors which are involved. So energy cost. So what is the choice for grid, whether you are going for renewable or you are taking from grid, then citing capital expenditure, then business model, whether you are going for low model, only 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers or heavy vehicles, and this is the cash flow. Projected cash flows, net present value, internal rate or return, cost, capital. You can see this reference, nrdc.org, you will get this cash flow if you want to become an entrepreneur, isn't it? So these are the reference, some of the references I have taken it. So before ending up, I will show the commercial calculation. So these are the some of the references I have taken it. So just wait, I will show you one case study here. I will show you. I will take 5 minutes. Okay, I think you can see. I think you can see this one. Now you see this one. Ministry of Power said that one, if you want to install public charging station, these 3 chargers are mandatory. First 3 are your fast chargers, CCS combined charging system, CHAdeMO, Type 2. All these 3 are fast chargers. Then slower moderate chargers, these 2. So minimum is 111. And what is the voltage ratings I have shown? Power output already I have shown. Then what is the approximate cost? This is what you have to focus it here. Now the approximate cost here you see here. For CCS CHAdeMO, it is a combined unit, so it will be approximately, I have given not exact figures, just a close enough values I have given it here. Looking into the present rates, I have taken it on an average rates here. It may vary. It is not the final one. Also the parameters which I have considered may vary, plus or minus. Somebody may add up some of the other things and somebody may delete some of the things. It depends. So therefore, but Ministry of Power, they have given these are the mandatory. It is a 12 lakhs, then type 2 AC is 70,000, Bharat DC is 2,75,000, Bharat AC is 65,000. So how many EVs charged? It is only one EV is charged simultaneously here. But only Bharat AC you can charge 3 units simultaneously because it will have a 3 charging points. It is built in. Then you assume that your charging station will work for 20 hours a day. 20 hours a day, that is kilowatt hours. So therefore 20 into your 50 power output, that will be 1000 kilowatt hours. Understood? Similarly 50 into 20, if you are working for 24 hours, your calculation will change. 24/7. If you are working for 15 hours, it will change. So I have taken 20 hours a day, at least 4 hours rest is required, isn't it? So I have taken, so this is how all these values are calculated for this one. So total, what is the total power sold per day? Total power sold per day in kilowatt hours. This is 2938, 2900 and this one. Then what is the cost involved? Now this is capex, capital expenditure. This is capital expenditure I have shown. Apart from this, so in addition to these charges, we have other infrastructure as given by the Ministry of Power. Transformer connection with the accessories, 3,50,000. Civil works, 3 lakhs. UVAC management software, charges, payment gateway, etc. 50,000. Then CCTV camera, 30,000. So total capital expenditure will be around 23 lakhs. Here it is 23 lakhs. Understood? This is 23 lakhs capital expenditure. Now OPEX, operational expenditure. What is the operational expenditure? You need a technician to take care of that one. First you keep him for 6 months. If you want to keep him 1 year, it will vary. So 25,000 per month. For 6 months, it is 1,50,000. Similarly, supporting staff, 15,000 months, 1 year it is required. 1,80,000. Service provided, 10,000. This one. So total operational cost will be 9,45,000. Operational cost is 9,45,000. Capital expenditure is this expenditure you are going to get every year, and this is your investment cost 2340 plus this is operational cost for your this thing. But second year onwards will not involve these technicians because our own people will get trained with those EV station. So therefore, second year onwards, I am going to minus this 1,50,000 from this one. So from second year onwards, my operational cost will be nearly 8 lakhs. Understood? So this is how we have made it. So this is investment cost and this is my cost of operation, maintenance cost. Now let us see what is the capacity utilization factor. So first I will electricity sold to EVs per year. What is the electricity sold to EVs every year? Every year means we will have 360 days, 365 because of Bandh or something it will be there. I am not considering that 5 days or 6 days extra. I am considering it is 360 days. So assuming first year I will be getting 10% capacity utilization factor, then I will be getting it a value 360 into this one. You can see this one, H16. That means what is the per day? Per day we are getting 2938. That is the sold, EV sold per day. But I want EV sold per year. So therefore, per day into per year, how many days? So it will be 360 into 10%. So 10%, that value you are going to get. Then second year we will consider the capacity utilization factor will be 20%, 35%, 55%, 80%. This is how we are going to include it. Okay. So like that calculation will be done. So what is the total electricity sold to EVs? This one. This much total for 5 years. This is the thing. Then what is the estimated revenue? One. scenario 1 with a tariff of 2.5 rupees, with a tariff of 2.5 rupees, and you see this one, this into this one, capacity whatever we have calculated, this is the total electricity sold to EVs per year, and we are considering a tariff of 2.5 rupees, and this is what you are getting it. Estimated revenue, you are getting it. Second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. So what is the cumulative amount revenue you are getting it? This one. Scenario 2, if your government is supporting with 3 rupees, then what is the cost you are getting it? Revenue, this is the thing you are getting it. So this is the green one. So 53 lakhs. Okay, this is the amount. Okay, 52 lakh, 53 lakhs almost. This is 63 lakhs. If it is rupees 3, then OPEX cost, first year 9 lakhs 45,000. Second year onwards 795. OPEX cost, second year onwards, this is the thing. So what is the operational cost for the total 5 years? This one. And what is the management? EVSE, electric vehicle supply equipment software, is 10% of the net revenue. So if I take 10% of the net revenue in scenario 1, 10% of this value will be 528. So total operational cost and EVSE software, so it is 46. Scenario 1. Scenario 2, if you are taking, again scenario 2 cost is, total revenue is this one, 10% of this one is 6.34 plus your OPEX cost will be your 47 lakhs. Now what is the net revenue in scenario 1? So it will be 6 lakhs 34,000, only you are getting it. So how to get 6 lakhs? What is the net revenue? 52, scenario 1, revenue you got. So what is the total cost you got it? 46. So how much you are getting it? Scenario 1, 52 minus 46, it is 6 lakhs something you are getting it. Similarly, scenario 2, 63 minus 47, scenario 2, you will be getting 15 lakhs. You see that one, scenario 1, scenario 2. But how much you have invested? Almost 23 lakhs 40,000 you have invested. Obviously, this will be your operational cost. We have included here operational cost. See, with scenario 1 you are going 6 lakhs 34 only you are getting cumulative amount after 5 years. But you have invested 23 lakhs. But if you are going with scenario 2, rupees 3 tariff, 15 lakhs you are getting it. Still 23 lakhs 40. But now the government of Karnataka has proposed 20% subsidy to this charging infrastructure, or 10 lakhs, whichever is higher they are going to give. So if you subtract this one from that one 10 lakhs, so it will be 13 lakhs, then you will be benefited here. So that means payback period with this scenario, with my example, I am saying it purely, this is my example. So you will be, payback period will be your 5 to 6 years. But worst situation, the payback period will be 8 to 10 years, we can consider. But the policies are coming up, which is going to support for this infrastructure. That's what I said, state government of Karnataka, 20% subsidy they are giving on charging structure. Not only that one, FAME 2, that is faster adoption of vehicles, electric vehicles, and manufacturing of electrical vehicles 2, policy 2 is coming up, that is giving subsidies to your even charging infrastructure equipments also. So if you calculate with those subsidies, obviously it is going to be beneficial for this one. So you can think of it. So do proper calculations if you are going for it. So this is again, once again, this is purely my calculation. Hope I think because of time, I skipped some of the slides. I have rushed this one. So thank you one and all for your patience listening.